Oh my gosh, it's so early. You know, I wake up early every day for work at about 4 in the morning, but going back in this time zone and trying to fit everything in here, I woke up at 7, so that's like 1 in the morning because daylight savings time was on Sunday, so it's pretty tough. But I'm awake, and if you want to look outside, it snowed all night. So there's my car, and the good thing is they do include the snow brush and the windshield scraper here, because they know it snows a lot. And if you do go somewhere where it snows and they're not used to it, I think I saw a friend go to Texas and they didn't give him one. Just use your credit card or your ID to scrape the windshield. It works wonders. So today, we're going to go to a place down south, a couple of places, and the Cape, and I wanted to show you some things that are interesting. So I know I said I was going to Boston, but this is in the general area. So more of the South Shore today, but don't worry, and we'll go back to Boston tomorrow when the sun comes out. It's supposed to be better weather. It's supposed to be actually great weather today. It's supposed to just be cold in the morning, and then it's going to stop raining and snowing, so at least it'll be sunny. A little bit windy though, but the rest of the days this week, Thursday, Friday, will be fine. So we're going to go drive down to the South Shore and see some interesting things. Hopefully you find them interesting, and then back to Boston tomorrow. So I'm going to jump in the car, get a cup of coffee at Dunk's, and then start the day. Bridgewater. I remember this grocery store, Roach Brothers. I used to always go there for groceries, and it's just a small, boring town with a railroad that goes through it, the T, which is part of the transit authority that runs the subway, and you can go to Boston from there, which is the only great thing about it, and kind of a sticking point of me wanting to go there. That used to be a Friendly's, and now it's totally abandoned. It's kind of crazy, but after this stoplight, that's pretty much the town. It's pretty boring. There's the same liquor store, the Packy, that we used to go to. If somebody had a car, because it's a little farther from campus. D'Angelo's is still there. It's kind of like New England Subway. I used to bank at that bank right there because it was close to my dorm. And behind here was a CVS, but I heard it's a Walgreens now. We'll go on to campus to show just a little bit of where I went to college, and then we'll keep heading south. I only came here because it's on the way to the South Shore. And I don't know, if you don't like it or you're not interested, you can skip it. I'll try to make the chapters. But we'll go drive into Bridgewater State University. And this is, I believe they're one of their rotaries. If you thought the rotaries in Salt Lake and Kailua were bad, then try one of these. They're pretty big. I think I took the wrong one too, because the turns are so big. I gotta turn around. So this is where I went to college. It's Bridgewater State University, located in Bridgewater, Mass. It's about 40 minutes or so from Boston south. When I went there, it was called Bridgewater State College, and they changed it to a university. It's the largest state university within the Massachusetts State Public University System, and the oldest public institution of higher education in Massachusetts. Don't get that confused with just the public system, because the biggest is UMass Amherst. And this is the front of it. Well, the main building anyway. I never really hung out on this side. It opened in 1840 as a college to train teachers, and I think that stands true today. There are many students that still come here to be teachers or special education teachers. Ooh, it's windy. And this is the only public institution, one of the only public institutions in any U.S. state that teaches aviation. When I attended here, it was before 9/11, so there were numerous students from all over the world, including Japan, just to learn about commercial flying, to become commercial airline pilots. The economy was really good at the time. In fact, my friend Chris, who I still keep in touch with, was an aviation major and is now a pilot for UPS. So whenever he stops in Hawaii to a run to Hong Kong or Australia, we meet each other sometimes if we have time and have lunch at Ala Moana. And if you're wondering what I majored in, it was criminal justice. So I think this campus, like most places in New England, have really nice buildings. That old school architecture, that's Tillinghast. They've got classes in there and a cafeteria that serves terrible food, I think. So that's pretty much the main building where you can pay your bills and go to classes. Over there, that smaller building is the art building, I believe, where you take all your art classes. And I'm going to walk down some of the main parts, and then we'll jump back in the car to go on the other side of campus, because it's a pretty big campus and I don't feel like walking. My ears are freezing. Over there, that's Pope Hall. I lived there for 2 years. They're the greatest years of my college life. Lived there with the same roommate for 4 years, Amy. So I don't know if I can meet her this trip. We tried to plan it, and the only day she was free was Tuesday, and that was the nor'easter, the storm. So can't do that, and she lives very far away in Western Mass. That's the Rondeau Student Center. And then the bus, I remember the bus. They still have the bus. You can take it around campus for free, although that one says it's out of service. But you can become a bus driver here, and they'll give you your CDL for free. And all these drivers are students. So there's a lot of opportunity that they give you, and they pay you very well. When I was coming here, I think they paid you over $15 an hour, and that's the 90s, late 90s. That's a pretty good paycheck for a student. Over there's the creepy graveyard. But yeah, this is Pope Hall. Lots of good memories in there. It looks more modern than I remember. People used to be asses, and they used to open those windows right where the entrance is. You see that? And they dump a whole bucket of dip, spit, and different beers and pizza. And that's pretty dick, but it would fall on your head. Thankfully, not me. And then because this is an alcohol-free campus, because when I came through, there was a lot of deaths with students with alcohol, so they banned it. See those windows on the bottom? If you had a basement room, everybody wanted one, because you could sneak alcohol through it. Hey, there's a cool food truck, Bear Bites. So that's our logo, or our mascot, the Bears. I guess they got a food truck. The Rondeau Student Union. That's where you can go to the campus center, and they have better food than they had Taco Bell at the time, and I ate Taco Bell every day because I didn't like their food. The Science Center is new. I think they knocked down the old science building. That wasn't there when I was going there. It was a different older building, smaller. Here's the auditorium where I went to see Henry Rollins for the first time. Lots of people come and do concerts or talks, and if you're a student, it's free. Over there is the gym. I'm not going to go too far, but up ahead, that big long building. And over here, this building up ahead is the library, and it's huge. Holy crap, there's robots. What the fuck is that? Excuse my French. What is that? It's crossing the street. What does it do? Hungry. It fucking delivers food to you. What? I never had that. That is crazy. That's cute. Anyway, this is the library. Freaking huge, and I remember because my first job here as a student, they have different jobs for students, was to collect the recycling in the recycling bins, and I'd have to put it in a trash bag and put it downstairs in the big blue bin, and man, that got heavy. But same thing, paid pretty good, and for that job, if you worked fast, they would still pay you by the hour. So if you got it done in an hour, you could go back to your dorm and chill and still get paid the full day. I can't believe those robots. It's still going. I don't know if you can see it. Oh my God, it's freaking windy. And here comes the train. So if you're not used to trains and you're looking to come here and you're younger, which is not usually my audience, get used to that because it's going to wake you up at night, but you get used to it. You don't really mind it after a while. These robots just keep going. They're following a trail. I don't know where they're going to though. Anyway, this wasn't here. This was new. We just had stairs here. But yeah, this is pretty much this part of campus. I'm not gonna go inside. Usually it's super crowded, but it just hit 8 a.m. And that's why all the kids are in class. It usually starts on the hour. So I'm going to jump in the car and drive on the other side because it's a pretty big campus. Oh, I didn't record her shoot. Right when I turned it off, I saw a cafeteria worker and I asked her. She was super friendly, which is really weird because everybody's been friendly. Usually they're not the friendliest here in New England, which I've come to accept. But she said, yeah, they come right to your dorm. So this one is waiting outside Pope Hall. They cook the food for the kids. If they want delivery, they just order it and it delivers right to the door. That is crazy. These kids are spoiled. That's crazy. So it is provided by the school. It's a service. So I'm not going to go through the whole school, but you can see it's pretty large. We're on, where are we? We're on this side. Right here. I didn't even make it past here to go that way. So I'm going to drive on this side. These are where all the dorms are, where most people live. There are some dorms on this side. And I'm going to pay a nice visit to the University Police Department, drop off some things there. I used to work there as a safety escort driver, another job for students. Paid $12 an hour, not bad for a job for a kid in 1998 till I graduated, I think. And you could work whatever shifts you want. They were very accommodating. Usually you have to work at night though. So the safety escort is a van that runs after the bus stops at a certain hour, usually at night. And it goes around the campus. You just call a hotline and we come pick you up. But we always went around the same route. There are no stops, but if you flagged us down, we'll pick you up for free if you're a student. And we also went off campus sometimes, so people like me that didn't have a car here, you could go grocery shopping, because some parts of this campus are hilly by the dorms, and it really sucked to carry groceries up that hill, and then your bags break, and that would suck. So you couldn't ever buy anything heavy like canned goods. So most people just bought ramen, and after a while you got really sick of it. So walking back, it was nice to come back here for a short bit. I'm just thinking I'm just gonna maybe drop off some candies. I got some Mac Nuts and some Kona coffee for the guys and girls at the police department there, and then maybe drive through. I know that side really changed. There are numerous dorms that were not even there. They took over what was the soccer field that nobody used, and a big parking garage as well. All right, we're driving through the other side. Move this pass, can't see, but wow, things have changed. A lot of these old school houses here, a lot of kids rent from. But this is the Moakley Center. It's where all the computers are. Most criminal justice classes were held. I'm not sure if it's the same anymore. That building used to be the police department, and they, I guess, knocked it down for something else. Across the street used to be a little hut that was a Dunkin' Donuts. It's gone, probably because they have much better, awesome things. And this is the hill you have to walk up. I'm not sure if you can really see or actually see the incline, but it's pretty crappy to walk on. And there's Miles Hall. That did not exist. Oh no, never mind. Miles and DiNardo Hall did exist, but this one in the back here, that big building, never existed. That little thing wasn't there. This was all just a soccer field. Nothing. There's Shea Durgan. That's where all the freshmen have to live, and it sucks. And then roll down the window. This is the student apartments. Spent my last year here, and it was wonderful. Lots of fun there. Same roommates. Had a blast. The apartments have kitchens and everything, so it's literally like an apartment with a couple rooms upstairs and downstairs. So this is the new police station I'm going to go to. I've been there in 2005, but it wasn't there before. There's the bus. When I came through, it wasn't there, but I'm not going to video them. They're probably not going to be wanting to be on video, but they're the same guys that work there, some new guys, but just going to give them some treats, and then we're off to the rest of the South Shore. Another interesting thing is the Bridgewater State Hospital is in Bridgewater, and I didn't even know it was there until I went on a ride-along with an internship, and he showed me the inside of the hospital, which is actually a mental institution that housed famous people such as the Boston Strangler and other notorious murderers and such. So it's still here. I remember our last year being here. They have sirens kind of like our civil defense sirens in Hawaii, and when it goes off, that means somebody escaped. So it did go off our last year, and everybody kind of freaked out, and they kind of locked down the school. So that's an interesting thing to note about the town of Bridgewater. Next, I wanted to go to Fall River first, but I'm kind of hungry. I didn't eat breakfast yet. I said I was going to stop at a Dunkin', but I didn't have time because I woke up too late. So I'm going to go to New Bedford first, trade it up, and have a sit-down breakfast, hopefully. The place is open, and it's not too long of a wait. So see you when we get there. All right, we're in New Bedford right now. And this is a small little town right next to Fall River. And if you didn't know, I came here because there's kind of a connection with Hawaii in the fact that it is New Bedford and Fall River has probably the most population of Portuguese people in the United States. We're gonna go eat at Miguel's restaurant. It's a famous place for Portuguese food, but there are many, many Portuguese restaurants all over here in New Bedford and Fall River. Even some of the companies, like car places and such, have Portuguese names. So let's go check out Miguel's. It's right here with this flag.
Morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Good. Yeah, this is Miguel, yeah?
Like Portuguese called caçoila, tradition from Azores, from San Miguel and the other islands. And we have called bifana, more tradition from continent.
Do you have malasada?
Yeah, sometimes we have malasadas on Saturday, Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday, okay.
We have Portuguese called sweet bread.
Okay.
Sweet bread and Portuguese pasteis.
Oh, awesome.
And of course we have linguiça, chouriço.
Okay.
That's all Portuguese.
I think
and we have soup. Sometimes we make kale soup.
Oh yeah.
Portuguese soup.
Sopa verde.
And sweet bread. And we have the Portuguese omelette, call here, with this one, Portuguese.
Okay.
Portuguese, that's linguiça and peppers.
Okay, thank you so much, Miguel.
You're welcome.
All right. I think we're going to try the linguiça just to see the difference from home.
Also, you can try this, caçoila bifana. It's pretty much...
Can I get a side of that?
Yeah.
I just don't want to waste food. Okay, cool.
They make kale soup in Hawaii, kale soup, sopa portuguesa. No faz.
It's more, they like the red tomato cabbage soup.
Oh, the
we just call it Portuguese bean soup.
Oh, Portuguese bean
but,
soup.
But what is it called for real?
Yeah.
What is it, the real name?
The real name is...
Sopa Portuguese?
Sopa portuguesa.
Yeah.
Caldinho, sopa portuguesa, obrigada. Caldo verde. We have the green soup called caldo verde.
With the kale.
With mashed potatoes, with the broth, with linguiça. Bom dia. Bom dia, tá boa, bem-vinda. Aí deu papo.
Eu pensei que ele já chegou aqui.
Não, ainda não chegou. Tá bom? You like it?
Oh, this is so good. Yeah. And that's really good.
Yeah. Caçoila.
Yeah.
Bifana.
I didn't try that yet, but this caçoila is good. Yeah, that tastes exactly like, it does taste like the one at home. Yeah. So it's exactly the same. It says this is bifana, and they put it in sandwiches. So let's try a piece. Tastes like a very tender, well-seasoned pork chop with that Portuguese flavor. So good. And the bread is so soft and flaky. It's got butter in between. So instead of toast, you can ask for this Portuguese bread. And you can see I never usually finish my plate, but it was so good. I'm done. Miguel gave me his card. This is his card, his phone number, and the address to his place.
Good appetite.
I'm trying. I love it. It's good. Good food.
Good appetite.
Yeah. Gotta keep warm. Thank you. So this is the inside. Everybody's super friendly and happy, and people keep coming in and out. Awesome place. Oh yeah. What's that? Oh, your bifana. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's amazing. It was good. It's so tender and stuff. Yeah. Wow. You know, I never really experienced friendliness like that in New England the times I've lived here, but so far my experiences here have been really positive. And there's Papa. He was in the restaurant and he just waved at me while he crossed the street. Portuguese people are very, very hospitable and amazing. So I'm gonna go drive to Fall River now, and hi Papa, have a good time.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go to Fall River and go eat more Portuguese food. But while we walk to the car, I'm gonna talk about some of the food. So I don't even know the names of it. It's not what we call it, but the linguiça tastes exactly like the Portuguese sausage we are used to in Hawaii. A little bit spicier though, but I liked how he charred it, exactly how we eat it, with the eggs. No rice here, of course, but the potatoes were amazing. They were seasoned so well, and he gave me a free bottle of water, so nice. Also, he gave me a discount. I didn't ask for it. I hate when people do that because I feel bad, but so genuinely nice. Potatoes were crispy. They had a nice seasoning on it. Almost like a potato chip, but just a little softer, but not mushy. And then the bread was so amazing. I've never had something like that. It's not like a Portuguese sweet bread. It's just a nice, crispy, crusty, soft, you know, breakfast bread. But it was thin, so it had this crunch to it with the butter. So, so good. But those dishes I can't pronounce really well. They were both pork, it seemed. One was a thicker pork chop, and the other one was like thin cuts of pork, and they were just soaking in that delicious, I don't know what kind of spices, but similar to a Portuguese sausage we're used to. And they're cooked till it's soft and tender, and it was so delicious. Maybe we'll go see a little bit more of New Bedford before we head to Fall River, and talk about some of the facts and some relations we might have here in this area. So this is New Bedford Harbor. It really stinks like seafood. Just that fish smell. And the town of New Bedford over there. So it's known as a whaling ship town. Back in the 1800s, there were whaling ships. And I mention this because there's a long history of whaling ships from New Bedford and Nantucket that stopped in Honolulu during the 1800s. If you go to the Oahu Cemetery, you'll see many folks from Massachusetts buried there as they made their way somehow to our islands. Also, that old ship at Sea Life Park that's no longer there during the dolphin show was a replica of the old whaling ship Essex from Nantucket. I also mention this because I think some of our local accent from Pidgin is akin to some inflections of the Boston accent. Of course, not all of it, but we also drop our R's. 3 is tree. Our old Kapuna say parlor for living room, which is still used today in Massachusetts. Sometimes they say no sir, yes sir. I know Pidgin came from the gathering of different ethnicities packed into the plantations together, and it was a means of communicating with each other. But did these sailors have a small influence on the way we speak, as well as accent-wise? What do you think? When people think of Fall River, they've either never heard of it or they don't think much. And it's just a normal American New England city down in the South Shore of Massachusetts. And the reason I'm adding it to this video, just like New Bedford, is it will appeal to some people in Hawaii in that it has a large Portuguese population. And they came here because there was a booming textile industry in the past, and they all immigrated to come work here for that textile industry. And the textile industry, unfortunately, you know, obviously went out of business. We don't really make stuff here anymore in factories in America. And so they immigrated from mainland Portugal, the Azores, and Madeira, just like Mr. Miguel was explaining to me in the restaurant. So there's tons of Portuguese restaurants here, bakeries, and you'll see some of the same foods, some more authentic. Since I went to Portugal, you'll find imported tinned sardines, stuff like that. And so if you miss Portugal, you'll find awesome Portuguese products here. Right here, I'm going to turn it around. Right here is the Portugalia marketplace. It's a big, huge Portuguese place to get all kinds of things, bacalhau, sausages, baked goods, etc. So let's go in there and check it out. Right off the bat, I'm not sure if you can see it through the window, there's the traditional Portuguese roosters. Wow. Wow, it smells very strongly of bacalhau, which is the dried cod. You can see all these different tins of sardines. Even the statey is shopping here. That's the state trooper. Different wines. Oh. Dried goods. Roasted pumpkin seeds, spicy fava beans, corn nuts. That looks good. Spanish cocktail mix. Looks like a bunch of nuts and corn nuts mixed together. Hot Cajun mix. Actually looks like kakimochi. Chocolates. Chocolate almonds, cashews, walnuts. Oh, fresh cocoa or carob beans, peanuts. Very interesting. Let's take a look around. Some chocolate from Portugal. I like these. They're very pretty wrapping. Some dishware from Portugal. They're very pretty. Some piri piri sauce, spicy. They make piri piri chicken in Portugal. Had it there. Very delicious. You can get pots and pans. You can get your Portuguese flag cup of espresso. All the Portuguese soccer teams. Wow, look at the seafood. Got some cod. Portuguese really like their cod. And bacalhau. They call it bacalhau just like Spanish do. Similar to bacalhau salad. What is that? It looks like a abalone or something. It says it's La Paz. I don't know what that is. Shrimps, lobsters, and crab legs. Hi. That's all the bacalhau in there. You can see all the dried cod, and they cut it for you. There's the man cutting it. And it's salted cod, and it's the way that the Portuguese would preserve their cod. And they still eat it like that in Portugal too. And you soak it in water for a long time to get rid of the salt. That's why it's all dried and salty like that. That's really strong though, that bacalhau. Got some fresh bacon, chorizo, Portuguese style marinade. Portuguese butter. Fresh cheeses. Look at these cheese wheels. Amazing. Some fresh olives. I love olives. Green olives, Kalamata. Those are my favorite. Pickled peppers. Different sausages. Fresh baked breads, some canned goods from Portugal, pastas, all kinds of pickled stuff and hot sauces from Portugal. These are more canned and tinned sardines, I think. So many to choose from. I'm only familiar with the Nori brand, which I don't even see here. Oh, here's the Nori brand. So I've had these. I have 2 more tins at home. But all these other ones I've never even heard of. And there's all these wines from Portugal. I wish I could buy some and take some home, but it is way too heavy. Amazing selection. Look at that. And I don't see any American wines here. This is all just from Portugal, nowhere else. Some old Porto wine. And the prices aren't so bad from being imported from Portugal. All right, so that was pretty much it. I'm going to go maybe buy some, I don't know, maybe some gifts that are light and get a pastry. So I got a Pasteis de Nata. I loved it in Portugal when I went a long time ago. In 2014, was it, that I went? And these aren't as brown as the ones they have in Portugal, but they look pretty crusty and yummy, which is this nice crisp crust. Try to get a better close-up of it. When I went to Portugal, I don't know if it's true, but it seems to make sense. They said because they sailed around the world, discovering the world, or exploring the world, Vasco da Gama and all that you learned in school, they brought this to Hong Kong. And Macau has a lot of Portuguese influence to it. And that's where you get the Chinese egg tarts. So if you like the Chinese egg tarts that you get from your Chinese bakery, you're going to love these. They're exactly the same, except the only difference I see is the crust. The crust is more flaky, almost like a pastry dough, like a phyllo dough. So that's what makes it yummy. It's so crispy and light, and it has the same kind of creamy egg custard in the middle. They also taught us during my food tour that I took in Portugal way before I started recording stuff that they brought tempura to Japan, more likely to Okinawa, and then it kind of spread to Japan. I think they went to one part of Japan when they were sailing around the world, because in Portugal they always eat green beans that are fried in a light batter, similar to tempura. And then I guess the Japanese made their own style and started doing it to shrimp and eggplant and different other vegetables, whereas in Portugal they only do it to green beans. It's a big dish there. The Japanese kind of made it more their own and actually perfected it because it's much lighter than the Portuguese batter. But that's what I learned in my Portuguese food tour. I don't know how true it is because that's what they say in Portugal anyway. So cheers. I will say the ones here in Massachusetts are a little bit different. It's like they put a little lemon in the custard, and I never tasted that in Portugal. It was just plain cream egg custard, very similar to that of the Chinese custard little cakes like these. So this one has a lemon taste. It's very pleasant, but much different. The crunchy outside of the crust is so delicious though. So crisp and light and flaky. I made these once a long time ago after coming back from Portugal. I bought a cookbook from there and they came out great, but it is a lot of hard work to make these, to temper the egg and do the custard and everything and the crust. It is worth it, but it's too much hard work, so it's nice to find a place that makes it. I wish we had one in Hawaii. A little bit of history about these Pasteis de Natas. I went to the one in Belém, the very popular place in Portugal. And the story is, at the time, the nuns were trying to make a dessert, and they had too many eggs. And that's how they discovered how to just make a custard dessert with all the egg yolks. and the sugar, and that's how it was born, from nuns. So kudos to them for making such a delicious dessert. If you're familiar with the famous chef Emeril Lagasse, one of the first Food Network stars, he's from here. He's from Fall River and of Portuguese descent. So I found a bakery here. Hopefully it has malasadas. We'll see. If not, we'll just wing it. Oh no, malasada fail. They even had shirts that said got malasada on them. She told me, super nice girl, that they're all sold out and it's only 11:30. So gotta get here early. I'm too late. Maybe I'll come back here tomorrow if I really feel like it, but she told me to go to the Market Basket and they might have some. And I'm like, really? Because Market Basket's kind of like a grocery store. So let me go try over there. I never thought I'd say I'd be at a Market Basket looking for malasada, but here we are. Okay, I just talked to the lady and all the malasadas are gone. You are not going to believe this. I drove all the way over here and they don't have malasadas either. And it's not because they don't have it. They're totally sold out. That whole pan sheet of malasadas was gone. And the nice lady, everybody has been so nice here, which was very different from when I lived here. But or maybe I just met the wrong people. But the nice lady, such a sweetheart, said she's going to reserve one for me tomorrow. I'm just going to have to drive an hour down here again. I'll try to wake up earlier this time, and that she'll save it for me. Even if it's sold out, they won't touch it, so that I can try one malasada. So I'll be back here tomorrow before I trek into Boston, because I don't have much time. I want to go to the Cape. So off to the Cape we go, and I just want to look at the beaches. And I have a friend that lives in Chatham that retired, co-worker that moved there, and he was on my flight. Hi, Morgan. And we saw each other, and not sure if he's still busy, but I'll try to text him and see if we can just have a chat. But if not, I just want to see the beaches anyway, because I'm heading down there. So, yeah, he moved here. What a weird coincidence. I wanted to make a quick stop here. Fall River is also known for the Lizzie Borden house. If you don't know what that is, it is a girl named Lizzie Borden. She was accused of murdering her father and her stepmother. This is the house right here. And she murdered them in 1892, or was accused of doing that. And she was tried and acquitted. The case was compared to the O.J. Simpson trial, or more recently, Blake Robert. I think he died. And he was accused of killing his wife.
Kathy, I did the same thing you did.
And he was also acquitted, and he just died recently. And even though she was acquitted, most people still believe that she did it. It's now a bed and breakfast where one can stay and experience the place and see the actual place that her dad and stepmom died at. And it's known to be haunted, so people like to experience that. It's open daily for tours and overnight stays, but I don't really have time for that, and I really don't want to bring home some bad juju. So people don't think, like, who's this random guy? This is Morgan, and I used to work with him, and he's retired now and happily living in Massachusetts. Because you're from here originally?
Yeah, from Cape Cod, Chatham,
oh,
and
okay.
Harwich, right over here. That's where I was born.
What made you come to Oahu?
No, go ahead. Come on. Well, back in the late 80s, I was a pro surfer.
Oh, really?
And I was skinny.
I didn't know that.
I had a lot of hair.
Oh, cool.
Yep. And so in either 89 or 90, I moved to Honolulu, and I went to Chaminade University, and I continued my pro surfing career for a while. And then but I was not like a big pro surfer. I wasn't making a ton of money, so I went to college. And that's how I started living there, and I planned to stay there anyway. And then so I ended up long story with that. I did the full career, and I bought a house on the North Shore, and I've lived up there for on and off for 30 years, but really solidly for the last 20 plus years, 23, 24. And then my wife Christy is from Sunset Beach. Say hi.
Hi.
And we ended up having a bunch of kids. So we have triplets.
Yes.
And they're 14, and we have a 10-year-old, we have a 25-year-old and a 28-year-old. And so 5 out of those 6 are here with us, and we moved up here after I retired to come deal with family stuff here in Harwich. But my mother's family's from Chatham, and then we've had a house in Harwich since I was born. And we came back here to put the kids in school, and sort of like revisiting this area, reliving it, because I've been away for almost 35 years, 34 years. And so now it's all new and exciting as an adult.
Yeah.
So clamming and stuff, that's all the outer beach way over there. Goes from Orleans all the way through to Chatham, and then far beyond, which is Monomoy.
So that must be amazing to clam and get your own seafood and eat your own stuff.
Yeah, so this island off of here, there's a lot of steamers. There's also these little coves, so there's a ton of like quahogs.
Quahogs, yeah.
And then in the deeper depths, like 20 feet, 15, 20 feet down in the muck, is a lot of razor clams. So those are highly prized, razor clams. It's privately owned. I know Aerosmith used to play out there.
Yeah, they're from Massachusetts.
A lot of wild parties have been had out there. And like I was saying before, like I think it's Bill Belichick's dad, maybe his brother, I'm not sure, but one of his relatives. There's a memorial out there to Belichick, like a bench that's put out there because that was his favorite place to go. And I know that from walking the beach out there not too long, this past summer, and I was like, wow, I had no idea.
We're here in Carver, Massachusetts, just passing by before we go to Plymouth. It's known for their King's Richard Fair in the fall. It's kind of like a medieval fair. But when you think of Massachusetts, you not only just think of Boston baked beans, Boston cream pie, and lobster rolls, you also think of cranberries. And here in Carver, there is an ocean spray plant and lots of cranberry bogs. You can't really see them through the trees, but they're there. And they're all throughout the whole South Shore. The actual headquarters of Ocean Spray is in Lakeville, Middleborough, which we passed through on the way to Bridgewater. But since I'm passing by Carver just to get to Plymouth, I figure I'd show you their other Ocean Spray plant. And yeah, the South Shore of Massachusetts is where a lot of our cranberries come from. And there it is. Here's the Ocean Spray factory, I believe, and there's bogs here because it says cranberry deliveries. So Ocean Spray here in Carver. Now we're gonna trek it through Plymouth and meet up with my friend Shayna. We are finally in Plymouth, Massachusetts, where the Pilgrims landed. Very nice homes and architecture here. So I'm gonna show you, I guess, where our country kind of started, sort of, besides Boston. Some people don't like it because it's kind of colonialism, but it's part of history, so I like history. I've seen it before, but I figured I'd show it to people who haven't seen it yet. I'm here in Plymouth with my friend Shayna from BSU, or BSC because we're old.
Yes, BSC.
We're here to see the rock, and she's going to tell me about the rock. I think you have an awesome accent and people would like it.
Okay, well this is Plymouth.
You want to hold the mic so people can
Sure. Oh my God, this is cute.
You don't have to hold it up here. But,
okay, so we're in Plymouth.
You're from, right?
Yes. It all began 1620. Actually, I think they came over before that. That's when they had the first Thanksgiving in 1620. They didn't really have a Thanksgiving when they landed, according to history. Okay. Anyways, so this is Plymouth Rock. It used to be out further.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Outside. We're freaking freezing.
It used to be further out, back in the 1600s and, well, the 1700s. Plymouth has changed a lot, but this is the rock.
The measly rock.
It's not, they say it's the piece of a rock that they landed on, according to history.
Because I'm fucking freezing.
It's extremely cold.
Yeah, so, hey guys, here's the rock, and we're going back.
Okay.
But it's surrounded in this beautiful
Town. And then the Mayflower is right across.
It's that way. We'll go that way, but
that's Plymouth Beach.
Yeah.
It's called Long Beach. And over that way is Duxbury Beach.
I've been there. It's very
And
beautiful.
Bug Light is down that way. You can see more of it.
That way? Yeah, we'll walk that way.
They had this more towards the ocean and along jetty. But
And there's the rock on that.
yeah, and now this is what it looks like. That was in the 1920s.
The camera's shaking, guys, because I am freaking freezing.
It is extremely cold.
I haven't minded the cold coming back, but right here we're right at the ocean, and the wind is killing me.
Oh, this is so
So
cold.
here, it's not like the original Mayflower.
No, it is. It is like the original Mayflower. It's called the Mayflower too.
But why is it
because
two?
because it's a replica.
Oh, so it's not original then? It's a
No,
replica.
no, yeah. It's not original.
Okay.
So and it usually goes down to Connecticut to get restored and to stay in the wintertime.
Well, anyway, so you're taking me to this other place
It's called
that's
the Yellow
historic.
Jelly. It's not historical.
Oh, it's not historical. It's just interesting.
Yes.
Or is it for me to just use the restroom?
Well, that too. I'm gonna get a cookie.
All right.
Well, we'll see if they have it.
So it's a to-go shop.
No, we're gonna go into the real place.
Oh, so it's a little facade.
They did this. They're craftsmen, so they actually
Oh, look, the wood
did
burning stove.
that stove. That. They have their own little shop. We're just going here and then here's the spot.
Okay.
You see this? Lovely.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
For the Indians and
The English. So it kind of tells like a story.
yes.
Oh.
And when they bought this building back, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, it wasn't like how it is right now. They did everything as in they handcrafted everything basically. They did the, well, that might be original, but most of the woodwork probably could be original, but they made the furniture, they made everything, even the windows.
Wow.
So everything is basically by hand.
I like the vibe. Oh, yeah, there's like pilgrim stuff there.
Yeah.
And it kind of has like a little story at the top that tells you what it's about.
Yes.
Oh, thanks for taking me here. It's really actually pretty cool.
You gotta see the other side.
Oh, the other side?
It's prettier.
So I just went to BSU today. And
Yeah, you said robots.
Yeah, there's robots that deliver your food.
Why are people so lazy?
I don't know. The cafeteria is right across the street.
Why is
and the
everyone so
lady said
lazy?
that. I don't know.
Lazy,
Yeah,
lazy,
lazy.
lazy. You had to walk everywhere.
Anywho. But yeah, that's some of the
This
artwork.
building is beautiful. Back in probably 1970, this was a store, and they used to have newspapers and fresh roasted nuts, and they would turn them. The only reason why I know is because my stepfather worked here back in the day.
Oh.
It was a newspaper store and like a general store.
Okay.
And when I was a kid, it was a general store, and they redid it. Also a florist.
So we're talking about like being old and having like diabetes or pre-diabetes or whatever, and Shayna says I what, $101 soaking wet, but I'm like, nah, I'm 130 something. And then...
And I said, that's my right tit.
That's your right tit. No, that's when I was 80 pounds in college.
I wish I was 80 pounds. Literally, that is my right tit.
All right, well, I'm going to go. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to hang around.
Well, where are you going?
Well, I think I'm going to go to that Brighton place, but I think I'm going to go to my Airbnb first and just relax a little bit. Yeah. Wait for the rush hour traffic to end.
Yeah.
Well, it should be done by soon. All right.
Are you going to take the train?
No, I'm going to drive there. There's where it's at. There's like street parking.
Is it near BU?
I have no clue, but I looked it up on Google Maps. It doesn't look popular.
Then why the fuck are you going?
Well, I like it, but you white folk don't. No, I'm just joking.
No,
it's Korean food. All right, I'm hungry, so let's try this Friendship Barbecue. All these places are different types of places, Punjabi food, Korean food. I actually wanted Korean soup today, but I'm leaning more towards Chinese. I don't know why, but it's a northern Chinese barbecue place. I don't know if it's good or not, but let's try it out. Hello. And I got some tofu skewers. It's northern Chinese cuisine, so it's very spicy and it has cumin. It's not like Cantonese. That's good. Let's try the beef. They all have that spicy cumin taste, but this one has a good char on it. And it's Wagyu beef. After talking to Shayna and Morgan, I ran out of time and I didn't realize I didn't have lunch, so I'm super hungry. Bean curd is one of my favorites because I think it mimics meat. So if you're vegan and you kind of want that chew, yeah, it's got it. Wanted to try some seafood, so here's some squid legs. I don't know how to tackle this. The legs are crispy and crunchy, and I thought it'd be tougher, but it's actually not so tough. So good. Something really different. Oh man, all this stuff smells so good. I got some potato salad. Or shredded potato, yeah. Thank you. Shredded potato. It's kind of crispy. I've never had it before like that. And it's got vinegar in it. It's actually really good. Into this oyster, it smells so good, but it's got a lot of chili pepper on there. I'm kind of scared. It's super mala, super hot. It's got a lot of garlic on there. It smells like garlic. Hot. Yep, really garlicky. It's got a grilled taste. And it is very spicy. Holy crap. It's almost like chili peppers. Holy crap, my mouth's on fire. Wow, but very tasty. Love the garlic taste. There's still a lot of garlic sauce on here, so I'm going to put it on my tofu skins. Okay, you probably can't see me because it's dark in here, but it is super cold outside. Try to turn on the light in the car, but that's pretty much my day. It was kind of very long because I wanted to split between meeting friends and talking story with them and catching up and trying to do food as well. And I kind of feel like, honestly, I'm not showing enough food, but there's just so much to pack in, all in just like almost 3 days because I wasted 1 day with that storm. But I got some things in, which I'm grateful for. But that barbecue, interesting experience. I've never had something like that besides the place I went to last year with my friend Darren, which I did enjoy. But this one, you could tell they're also authentic. The other one is too, because there's Chinese people, but they all spoke Chinese as well. But they're from northern China, and you get that heat and the hot, spicy food with the cumin and a lot of lamb. But I don't really eat lamb, so I didn't order any. But that beef was amazing. And I didn't really pay attention too much to the prices, but I believe each skewer was about $4, but you got 2 skewers each of things. So technically, I guess $2 a skewer. And I got that Tsingtao beer, and that was refreshing. And like I said, it's really late, so I need to head home to the Airbnb. I'm in Alston, Brighton area, which is near Boston University. So it's going to be a 40-minute drive home. So I'm going to cut it here. I'm very tired. Tomorrow also has a dent in my plans because I couldn't find the malasadas today. That nice sweet lady at Market Basket said she'd save one for me. So I got to wake up early, head there. My original plan was just to go to straight to Quincy, park at one of the T stations, and jump on the T to Boston and make up for lost time since I wanted to do that the first day. And so that's going to take an hour to get to Fall River and an hour back, probably to Quincy. So hoping I can get to bed early. I'm still on Hawaii time, so I sit in bed fidgeting all night and hopefully just go to sleep tonight and wake up early. I didn't wake up on my alarm this morning. I had a hard time, so I was an hour late. Get that malasada, taste that, and head to Boston and get that done so you guys can see more food. If you're wondering, why are you eating Chinese food in Boston? Well, there's a lot of ethnic Chinese here, and it's different kinds of Chinese, especially just like in New York, so it's not just Cantonese, and I wanted to experience it. And like I said, I really wanted some jjigae today, but it was totally packed again. That's the hard thing about eating in a big city. If you don't have reservations, and it's kind of hard to do it for one person, it's very hard to get a seat sometimes because everything's so popular. This whole this whole street for blocks is just full of restaurants, but they're all packed. And it's usually all, students, because this is a very big city for education. You got Harvard, Cambridge on the other side of the river has MIT, and then here on this side of the river is Boston University, and you got Boston College too. So I'm gonna cut it, gonna go to bed after I head home, and thank you for watching. And if you enjoy this, watch tomorrow's one with the malasadas, or not tomorrow, but the next video of all that, and then Boston. All right, peace out. Thank you.